So here we are today with the CEO and president of the Temecula Valley Chamber, Emily Fallipino, and we're here getting some tips and information. The Chamber's been putting together some really great lists and collaborating information. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, Diane, thanks so much for having me, and thank you for taking notice of that list. The list that you're referencing is a collaborative effort now between the Temecula Valley Chamber of Commerce, Visit Temecula Valley, and the City of Temeculas Economic Development Department. And so we're essentially pooling together a list and guide of any restaurants that are open for grab and go services, takeout, delivery, all of that good stuff. And we are updating the list daily and publishing who's open for business. And we encourage you to shop local. So what started as an open effort between our members, we're doing welfare check phone calls and connecting with our member businesses. And we started recording how they were adapting to this time. So what their hours were, if their operations, goods or services had changed. And we thought we need to share this with the public. So then it became a expanded effort. We took the information that Visit Temecula Valley had on their members, and then we started collaborating with the city's Economic Development Department. And all three of us have contributed to create the list you're seeing online today. I do want the public to know it is being updated daily. You do not need to be a member of the Chamber of Commerce or Visit Temecula Valley. Because we are working with the city's economic development team, we feel like we want to represent businesses from each of our respective organizations. But I will say, if you are a Chamber of Commerce member, you are going to get special designation. We are annotating that a restaurant or business is a member of the Chamber just because we see the value in that. We want to thank them and give them an extra shout out. But everyone and anyone can be featured, and we really want this to be a tool that everyone utilizes. And I'll give you kind of an inside scoop, Diane. This is going, I think, public with press today, but we worked with the city to take this effort and take it up a notch. So effective immediately, we have a new interactive map that viewers can go to online, and it is going to show them kind of within the city's areas and limits, a list of restaurants that are open with grab and go, takeout, etc. It'll show a list of kind of creative places to shop for essential groceries outside of your typical supermarket. It'll also feature a list of pharmacies that are doing delivery, and it'll feature a list of urgent cares. And then finally, it'll feature a list of community resources that are free. If you are a family who's struggling or an individual who has needs, we'll have links and site locations where you can pick up free meals or get assistance as it's needed. So that's going live today, and we will be publishing updates daily.
Oh, that's amazing. Really good work. Thank you very much for putting that together. So what kind of tips do you have for businesses who have transitioned into remote working?
You know, this is new territory for all of us, and I'm going to use the Temecula Valley Chamber of Commerce as an example. We've never operated remotely before. It was not part of our infrastructure. And I think it's imperative that all of us as employers and employees remember that it's going to take some time to adapt. And once you find the means of adaptation, then you need to start adopting new habits and new routines. So I want to remind everyone to have patience and be flexible. If you do not have the infrastructure, then reach out to your local Chamber of Commerce who can put you in touch with service providers who will help you access digital tools and a new infrastructure. I do want to give a shout out to Technology Squared, who helped the Chamber with our integration into an online and virtual platform, but we have so many other businesses who can help with that. And the great thing is, in our community at this time in need, so many businesses are stepping up to say, I'll do it at a fair price, or I'll do X amount for free, and then, you know, beyond this, there's a small charge. So really, while we all might have an imminent need with our technology infrastructure, there are imminent resources. So just get a referral for that help. And then this is a great time for us all to be innovative and creative. There was an expression we all started using quite a while ago, and it was, there's an app for that. And the reality is, there is an app for just about everything. So some of my favorites, I use Trello and Monday if you need to manage projects and timelines and deadlines across different roles and people. There are apps like this, Zoom, who can connect you with your team and with your customers and your audience. So don't feel like you are kind of upended in business. There is an app for just about everything, so use them. SBDC just posted a really great list of technological tools that businesses can use to adapt to this time. And Diane, I did send you that list, so perhaps you can find a way to include it in this feature. I do want to point out that a number of the major technology partners, Microsoft 365, Google for Business, many of them are offering free 6 months or free trial periods just to get the business community up and running. So take advantage of those offers because they're available for times just like this.
Wonderful, great information. Thank you so much. How can businesses support their employees in this time of anxiety and stress? I just heard from an employee who is a little stressed out this morning and having a hard time just even remote working. So how do we support them in this?
That's a really great question, and I love that you're asking it, Diane. I think it demonstrates a lot of empathy. I think as business owners and as business managers, we really need to be extra conscientious of everyone's feelings. Everyone responds to change differently. And no less in a time like this, change has been thrust upon us suddenly. So I encourage managers and business owners to have very open and frequent dialogue with their staff. For me at the Chamber, I'm adapting as well. We haven't worked remotely before. And so we're establishing daily chats, check-in times, and different means for us to communicate. It might be video, it might be text, it might be a group kind of chat. You know, take the time to really engage and listen to where your team is. But I think it's important too that as managers and business owners, we lead with grace and professionalism, and we just continue to be an anchor. Assure your teams that we are going to get through this, that there are going to be some hiccups along the way, and your staff should have the freedom to share what's frustrating and challenging, and as managers, we can respond to that. And then I think for myself, I always keep myself in check as a manager with, if it's my job to lead, how would I want my team to emulate what I am doing? Or how would I want them to be a reflection of me? And I better be behaving and communicating in that way first.
Great advice. Thank you very much. So talk a little bit about how the Chamber is turning in-person networking into some virtual networking. I believe I'm one of those virtual networkers today as the sponsor of the morning breakfast today. So how are you making that work?
So we were surprised by everything that's happened in the last couple of weeks. And frankly, it was imperative that we make some changes and not host in-person mixers because it just wasn't socially responsible anymore. But we never want to stop delivering value and service that our members need from us. So initially, we launched what we are calling networking events. And they're a digital version of networking wherein our members can fill out a form and tell us what they wanted to get out of the networking event they hoped to have attended. So sometimes someone will reach in and say, I need to meet a specific person. I need someone who can help me with an idea, or I'm looking for contacts of this type in general. And then what happens is their responses get our staff hard at work. And we start making those connections virtually. We'll do email introductions. We're connecting them with online resources to help them with their queries. And that's just the start. You know, it's what we were able to throw together right away. And fortunately, we've seen a lot of value in that. In April, you're going to see us take it up a notch, and we will be hosting live events where all of our members or attendees can communicate. We'll look to host small groups so you can virtually connect and then move on to another group and virtually connect with them. We are going to be hosting more interactive webinars, just relevant to, with topics that I should say that are relevant to right now. Connecting you with legal resources, insurance resources, financial resources, you know, free resources made available from the Fed and state and county. So we'll be hosting topics where you can either send in a question in advance and have that responded to, or interact with our webinar hosts directly. So a lot more to come.
Wow, exciting. I look forward to seeing all of that happening. So how would you've been in touch with businesses? How are the businesses in Temecula reacting? Are they remote working? Are they still working? We see what's going on in big cities like LA and New York. You know, how are we faring in comparison?
You know, it's interesting. I'll tell you, every industry has been affected slightly differently. The immediate effects of this shutdown or the governor's mandate have really affected hospitality, tourism, lodging, and now we're seeing it more so in retail and professional services to an extent. This virus and this pandemic is, I've heard this term, the great equalizer, and it truly is. Because an economy in New York City or Los Angeles might very well be different from Temecula's, but it's not today. We're all faced with the same gruesome challenges. Many to most businesses in our area are 100% remote. There are 16 critical industries that are considered essential to our infrastructure that continue to operate. Really good examples of that would be our local manufacturers. So many of our manufacturers produce medical supplies, goods, materials, etc. So those are examples of sites that would still be open physically to their workforce, but not to the public. But just about everybody else outside of grocery, healthcare, and essential supplies, they are probably closed or should consider closing from a socially responsible standpoint. We are not in a period right now where the city is enforcing and making checks into businesses to close them down. I think most businesses have closed voluntarily in response to the mandate.
We have a good community here, so that's really good to know.
We do.
Yeah. So, you know, let's look to the future. So we're going to get past this. We all know we're going to get through this together. But then, you know, businesses have to get back up and working. What about the employee who goes to the business and says, oh, I can do that from home now?
You know, it's an excellent question because it's certainly going to come up. I can't speak as an authoritative voice on the matter. What I could do is suggest that you reach out to your Chamber of Commerce for a human resources professional who can help guide you through that. But, you know, what I would say is, I think we all as managers need to be willing to learn from this experience. And we really need to be paying attention to what productivity looks like in various forms. We need to look at what the value of remote work is to our employee base. And we also need to always consider the effects of remote work on our physical operations. Having that open dialogue ahead of time, I think will help kind of diffuse these questions and conversations as they come up later. But I think that as employers, we should always be open-minded and willing to have conversations, but we also have to make decisions in the best interest of our organizations. And I think truly a human resources professional or even a business development professional with an outside perspective is a great mediator to bring to that table.
Great points. Wow. Well, you have been so insightful. It's really nice to have you leading the chamber and being a force out there as we're all trying to navigate through this. So thank you very much. Is there any last words you'd like to share?
If you're going to give me an opportunity, I will share a couple of things. I do want to echo what you just said. We will 100% get through this. Our community is strong and we're stronger together. There should be no imminent need because the reality is we have an imminent supply for anyone who has a need. So if you're an individual or a business that is struggling, I implore you to connect with us so that we can connect you with the resources to help. For anyone who finds themselves in a moment of helplessness or a little bit of despair and glum, I want to encourage you to take a moment and go help someone else who has a need. Serving others always puts life's challenges in perspective. And we have a couple of organizations right now who are actively looking for volunteers who are healthy and who can afford to spare their time. The Community Mission of Hope, Project Touch, these are great organizations locally who are doing a lot of good. Donate. We have the need for blood donation. It's an urgent need. And if you have time on your hands and blood in your body, I really encourage you to go take the time to donate blood. The Temecula Valley Hospital just finished up their blood drive. Promenade and Milgard have blood drives coming up, and then the Temecula Valley Chamber of Commerce and the Promenade are joining forces to co-host another blood drive in early April. So we'll keep you aware of that. But and for those of you who have goods to donate, canned goods, household items, I would donate those to the Community Mission of Hope or Project Touch. Reach out to the Temecula Help Center as well. And that's one of the best ways to be forward thinking and to kind of relieve ourselves of our own pain is by helping others.
Great points, great advice, and great organizations. Well, thank you so much for your time. I really appreciate all that you're doing for the business community and to provide support out there in a time of need. So thanks a lot. We'll see you soon.
Thank you for having me, Diane.
Thanks.
Bye.